world today, you will notice that marriage was a lot different from marriage in biblical times. For instance, in Genesis chapter 24 verse 67, Isaac and Rebekah simply entered a tent and were married without any certificate or paperwork. With this in mind, how should Christians and the general public define marriage today? To better understand it, let's go back and look at what marriage was like in the Old Testament. Marriage is described in the Bible as a holy covenant for a lifetime between a man and a woman and their God. Did you know that in the Old Testament, when two people made their covenant with one another, a goat or a lamb was slaughtered and its carcass was cut in half? Why do they do this, you may ask? Well, the two people who had formed the covenant would solemnize their promise by walking in between the two halves, saying, "May God do so to me, cut me in half, if I ever break this covenant with you and God." So what exactly does this mean? This simply means that when you enter into a covenant, you are saying to God, "Lord, if I ever break my covenant, you can just kill me right now."
In the original plan of God, the intimate community of love and life, which constitutes the married state, has been established by the Creator and endowed by Him with its own proper laws. Since God created him and his wife, their mutual love has been a symbol of God's ultimate and unchanging love for man. In the Creator's sight, it is excellent. And this love which God blesses is intended to be fruitful and to be realized in the common work of watching over creation. And God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it."
The Holy Scripture affirms that the man and woman were created for one another. This sentence is further strengthened by the following scriptures. "It is not good that the man should be alone." Genesis 2 verse 18. "The woman, flesh of his flesh, his equal, his nearest in all things, is given to him by God as a helpmate. She thus represents God from whom comes our help. Therefore, a man leaves his father and his mother and cleaves to his wife, and they become one flesh." Genesis 2 verse 24. In the Catechism of the Catholic Church, Part 2, Section 2, Chapter 3, and Article 7, sacred scripture begins with the creation of man and woman in the image and likeness of God, and concludes with the vision of the wedding feast of the Lamb. Scripture speaks throughout of marriage and its mystery, its institution, and the meaning God has given it, its origin and its end, its various realizations throughout the history of salvation, the difficulties arising from sin, and its renewal in the Lord in the new covenant of Christ and Church.
The Old Testament also uses the image of marital love to reveal the relationship that God and His people share. What does the term marital love even mean? According to Amoris Laetitia, the term marital love strives to ensure that one's entire emotional life benefits the family as a whole and serves its common life. It can be felt even in the midst of grief. It entails accepting that marriage is an unavoidable mix of enjoyment and struggles, tensions and repose, pain and relief, satisfaction and longings, annoyances and pleasures, but always on the path of friendship, which inspires married couples to care for one another. They help and serve each other, meaning that the Old Testament focuses on marital love, which portrays the bond between God and His people. Now that we understand how marriage works in the Old Testament, we can see that it is not for the faint of heart and it requires everlasting love. But it is also worthwhile to pursue, knowing that God has brought two people together for a purpose greater than one can even comprehend.